Could I first of all thank you all for turning out today and giving us your support on what is a lovely fishing day. First of all, to the custodians of the river, Simon and John, Doogie, Geordie, John, and all the other gillies throughout the year, and of course our river superintendent, Eddie McCarthy. Thank you all for the work that you've done, your effort and dedication in making the River Thurso one of the best salmon fishing rivers in the country. Thank you. To the river, we wish for a constant flow of water throughout the year. Not quite as generous as this, but some summer rain would do us good. We ask that her moods are in harmony with the anglers. To the salmon, a welcome return to the birthplace, and hopefully in sufficient numbers to restore the equilibrium of earlier days. To the anglers, may the sun shine on your face, may the wind be on your back, may your rods bend, your reels sing. Tight lines for 2015. The toast, the River Thurso. The River Thurso. I would now invite Bob Sedgwick to cast the first fly on the Thurso to open the river.
Thanks, Alan, very much.
No,
Fine.
good. Look.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you.
There you go.
Okay, Eddie, the last 2 years have been challenging to say the least. What are your hopes and your outlook for this season?
Well, the hope is that we will have a very, very good season. But with salmon fishing, it's such an unpredictable thing. The salmon go 2,000 miles out to sea. Something might happen on their outward journey, on their inward journey, so you can never be sure until they actually arrive in your estuary just what it's going to offer you.
Last season, there were plenty of fish in the actual river system, but they weren't taking fly.
Sure.
Any ideas?
None whatsoever. I mean, we were astounded. There were those of the opinion that the fish just weren't there in the numbers that we knew them to be, and that proved to be when we saw them on the reds spawning in November time.
You talked about knowing the numbers that are in the river system. In fact, the last 2 yearly fish surveys have shown that the river is very, very healthy.
Incredibly so.
So you've got no fears, just hopes.
Absolutely, in a nutshell.
Okay.
Right, Dougal, we've had a couple of challenging years fish-wise. What are your hopes for the year ahead?
I'm quite hopeful, yeah. I think we'll have a reasonable year this year.
There are those of the opinion. Sorry.
Carry on.
There are those of the opinion that the grills that didn't come in last August, that they'll stay that wee extra while at sea and will come in again. Are you of that opinion?
I'm not so sure about that.
I'm not so sure either.
No, I'm not so sure about that. I think we'll have a good run. As I say, we know fine last year was not hot. It's alright, we had a reasonable run, but nothing spectacular. But years ago it would have been a good season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, but no, I think we should do alright. I'm hopeful anyway.
Okay, Doug. just finish off, when do you think the first fish will come off?
Last
Well,
week in February.
Last week in February. And what do you think the biggest fish might be this year? We had a 23 pounder as our biggest last year.
No, I think we'll go bigger. I'll go for 25.
Right.
Top end of the river.
Yeah.
If we keep getting this water.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Okay, thank you. Well, we had a kind of challenging year last year, John. What are your hopes for the season ahead?
I hope. I hope the visitors and the locals have a pleasurable season. I hope they do catch a lot of fish. Equally, if they don't, I can't think of a better place to blank. So I think the fish is the cherry on the icing on the cake.
Right.
But I think even having the cake and the icing is not a bad place to be. So the fish will be nice, but that's the one thing we really can't control. So let's just see what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wish I'd said that. Okay, George, what's your hopes for the year ahead? With a pretty lean year last year, really.
Well, all we can hope for is as long as we get water. That's the first thing foremost. If we get water, I think we'll have a pretty good season.
When do you think the first fish will come off?
I think it'll come second week of February, which will be around 12th, 13th, 14th February sort of region. I think it'll come from Lochbeg.
Right, and what do you think our biggest fish will be?
Well, see the biggest one getting caught last year,
Yeah.
it'll beat 2. I think it'll come from beat 2 again. Yeah,
Right.
and I think I reckon it'll push you just the other side of mid-20s, 26.
Right, great.
Um,
And okay then, what do you think the biggest fish of the season will be? Our biggest was 23 pounds last year.
The year before wasn't much different, was it?
No, pretty much the same.
Yeah, it seems to be the sort of bigger end of the scales, you know. Yeah, I don't see it being an awful lot of difference, really.
23, 24
Yeah.
pounds, yeah.
Just selling the fence.
Good on you. Okay, John, thank you. All very much indeed for the lovely speech you did on Saturday evening. And thank you also very much indeed for casting the first fly for us this morning.
Many thanks, Eddie. I'm the person who's honoured to come and have that opportunity to make the first cast. I never dreamt it would happen 33 years ago. I dream of conditions like today, except later in the year.
Absolutely.
Plenty of water.
Well, can I just ask you for your prediction for the year? When do you think the first fish may come off? We had it early February last year.
I remember watching this video last year when the question was asked of John and I think of Pat, and they both got it wrong. So I'm looking forward to a good season. I think before the end of January.
Wow, that would be special.
It would. And I would say I've got an interest. I'm coming up again to fish for the first time in May,
Yes.
and by then I want there to be lots of fish, so I've got to start coming early.
And what do you think the biggest fish might be this year? We had 23 pounder there last year.
I wouldn't like to hazard a guess on that,
Yeah.
Eddie. We all dream of the big one,
Sure.
and I'm one of the many anglers who's almost certainly lost a big one. But clearly there's fish over £20 around, and it seems to be the size of fish is increasing.
Yeah. And you'd be quite happy to take a 20 pounder.
I'd be delighted. Well, 27 would be even nicer, yes,
Indeed.
but yes.
That's good.
It's always encouraging when, given what's happening to salmon
Sure.
overall, that big fish are caught, because that's a healthy sign. There's hope if the big ones are still there.
Brilliant.
But,
Well, thank you very much indeed.
Well, and thank you for inviting me, Eddie.
Not
Yes,
an absolute
I'm
pleasure.
just sorry I didn't bring better weather.
No, everything you've done has been perfect.
Thank you very much.
indeed.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah.